Earlier this month, I made a video talking about a couple mods that had yet to make the jump to Tmod Loader 1.4, and that was Thorium and Starlight River. Now, just like Relogic, the developers behind these mods like to share a little spoiler about their progress every once in a while. So today we're going to be talking about the latest spoilers, but not only that, I also have news for two very exciting Terraria projects which you should definitely have your eye on. But before we get into it, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video. Dragon City is a free-to-play game where you can collect over 1,000 different dragons and build your dragon empire. I've been having a ton of fun with it recently, and I think you will too. In the game, you can breed 2 different dragons to get new ones, hatch them, feed them, and watch them evolve, and then start training them. You can take your dragons to battle in a bunch of different PvP modes that will let you fight other dragon masters. But that's not all. Your favorite, the Walking Dead characters, are coming alive in Dragon City. Celebrate the iconic show's return with the all-new Negan, Maggie, Rick, Carol, Daryl, and Michonne dragon. And if you're also a big The Walking Dead fan, you're gonna love this. Each dragon possesses their own exclusive primary element, making them completely unique. And their special bunker attack gives them extra power in PvP fights. And the latest dragon available in Dragon City is Maggie. And her exclusive skill, Safe Zone Serenity, will ensure your team remain as strong as ever during battle. Get the Negan, Maggie, Rick, and Carol dragons through the offers or in the breeding island as they arrive in the game. And master the Michonne quest to get the ferocious Michonne dragon. If you get all 5, you'll receive the Daryl dragon completely for free. To collect all the exclusive The Walking Dead dragons, download the game using the link in the description or by scanning this QR code right here. And get a free special starter kit with 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the free epic zombie nature dragon. So let's begin with the Thorium mod. They wanted to share a couple spoilers talking about the thrower class. Now, as many of you'll know, before Terraria 1.4, the throwing class was somewhat of an unofficial class in Terraria. Weapons that were throwing weapons at the time dealt throwing damage, but in Terraria 1.4, they changed it all to Ranger and said, hey, the throwing class is no longer. So Thorium actually aims to reintroduce and revamp the throwing class, and to do this, they're implementing a couple new weapons that actually also have an alternate fire. In their most recent spoiler, they showed off a couple new weapons. You've got the Star Eater, the Devil Dagger, the Spiky Caltrops, the Palladium Throwing Spear, and a new accessory called the Canteen. And they actually shared one of them in action. So this is the Palladium Spear, and as you can see, you can fire it off like a normal throwing weapon from back in the day, but then you can also hold down Alt Fire and instead charge up the spear to do a little bit more damage. And you could also see from the weapons descriptions that a different Alt Fire is to actually throw out multiple throwing weapons at once. It was a bit of a shame that Terraria actually backtracked on the throwing class and we never got to see its full potential, so it's great that Thorium are actually bringing it back to life. Now let's talk about Starlight River, and it was great to see in the comment section of the last video that a couple more of you have discovered this mod, because I feel like as a Terraria fan, you need to keep your eyes on this one. So in a recent spoiler, they said, if you're lucky, you might come across a mysterious shard of moonstone in place of a meteorite. Its dreamlike aura can be entrancing, but you might not want to touch it. And in the video, you can see a new structure that's landed down, but the reason why this spoiler in particular got me excited is because it highlights what I think Starlight River do really well, and that's adding different effects to the background and the foreground. Like, when you really think about it, this is just a new block that's landed down in Terraria. Nothing too special, but when you add all of those special effects, well, it becomes something else. It becomes more unique. And I really think that's Starlight River's strongest point. They seem to go the extra mile in the art department. They also had a new weapon to share. They said, speed up your early game harvesting and defense efforts with the Saw Blade, a chainsaw capable of shredding both flesh and flora. Now, this actually reminds me a fair bit of the chainsaw you can get from the Solar Eclipse in hard mode, but what's nice is this is available much earlier in the game, and I quite like how it swings around because I feel like it would be quite good when caving. Like, if a bat is coming up on you and you're swinging this about, you're more likely to hit it, and you also don't have to manually aim with it as well. So one mod which didn't make it into the previous video is the Mod of Redemption, a mod which I let's played at the beginning of last year and I really enjoyed. If you've ever seen the T-Mod Loader trailer that I worked on, there's a scene that's set in a laboratory. Well, that laboratory is the Mod of Redemption. It's a really cool structure that you find in the world, and throughout your adventure, you'll find yourself going back to the laboratory and unlocking new areas. And it may also be the mod where I turned into a chicken and just played the rest of the game like that. Well, it's yet to make the jump to T-Mod Loader 1.4, but apparently it's in some kind of alpha. But they do have a couple of spoilers, and the first one is this. What you're looking at here is actually deep space. Now, it's not known what this area will actually be for, but they have said it will be a nice place to build. One of the things I really like is they've actually implemented custom boss bars for all of the different bosses, and I think these look fantastic. One of the things I like about the Mod of Redemption is they have these really flashy boss intros, and text appears on the screen. It kind of looks like a cutscene. Well, they recently shared this spoiler of something being brought into the world. So the final project we're talking about today is Terraria Craft. This is a mod which I played so much last year, and unfortunately I haven't had the chance to talk about it recently. If you haven't seen it before, it's a mod that implements Terraria into Minecraft, and they've gotten really far with the project. It has these great giant caves. They've even got the King Slime and the Eye of Cthulhu. But unfortunately, progress on the mod had to come to a screeching halt. Now, this was actually because of a certain world conflict that began back in February. Unfortunately, all that is still happening, sadly. But I am happy to say that the mod developer is back working on the mod. So they recently shared a couple spoilers and they all look fantastic. This first one is of a big living tree in Terraria Craft. They've also gone ahead and added in corruption pots, and they've even begun work on wooden platforms and also stairs. And even though it's early days, I think they look great. And just like before, if you want to check out early builds of Terraria Craft, they're available on the mod developers Patreon. And that's absolutely everything we have for today. Thank you to Dragon City for sponsoring today's video. Don't miss out. Scan this QR code right here to get playing straight away, or click the link at the top of the description, and do it fast because you also get that free starter kit with the epic zombie nature dragon. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.